Hi everyone. What we're going to do today is we're going to determine how much energy or calories is in a given sample of food. So when food is released from a food item, when it's broken down in your body being digested, we use that energy to carry out everyday functions. As we've learned previously, the unit for energy is joules. Another unit of energy can be the calorie. This is the conversion, and 1 calorie is equal to 4.182 joules. And if you notice, that is the specific heat capacity of water. Calories in food are actually measured in what's known as a kilocalorie. So we say kcal or capital CAL. So you're going to notice on this food sample here, they reported as a kilocalorie or a food calorie 38 per serving. In actuality, when we convert that into what's known as a chemistry calorie, we see that there are 1,000 chemistry calories for every food calorie. So we would multiply that by 1,000. Manufacturers measure calories using a bomb calorimeter, as we saw yesterday, and you used a very crude apparatus to determine the energy in our food samples. So what they do is they place food in a container and they have water within that container. They burn the food, and when the food has burned, they measure the change in temperature of the water to see how many degrees it raised, and therefore we can determine how much energy was lost by the food sample. So this is what you would do. You have this information given to you. And the other little bit of information that we should add is the quantity of water that is in the can suspended above your food sample. So let's just say that I had exactly 50 grams of water. You will have subtracted the mass of your water in can from the empty can to get your exact mass. We notice that we've got a change in temperature of the water. And so what I'm going to do is figure out how much energy was absorbed by the water in the burning of this food item. So what we do is to figure out Q of the water, you take mass times specific heat capacity times the change in temperature. Now in doing that, we have got our 50 grams. Multiply that by 4.18 joules per gram degrees Celsius. And we do final temperature minus initial temperature. So in this case, that is 7.1 degrees Celsius. When I calculate that, this is the amount of energy, 1,483.9 joules of energy was absorbed by the water. So then that means that the energy lost by the food source, and in this case, it's an onion ring. So Q of the food would be negative 1,483.9 joules. So this is how much energy was lost. In order to calculate how many calories that's equal to, what we do is, and this would be what we would consider a chemistry calorie, we take our energy value, and we divide that by 4.182 above, and we get a negative 354.7 chemistry calories. Notice that I am using a little c, okay? Now, this negative, remember that just means that energy was lost, okay? Now, if I want to convert that into what is known as a food calorie, I have to divide that by 1,000. So what we're going to do to figure out a kilocalorie, or what we know as cal, capital C, we're going to take that value and we divide by 1,000. And that takes us from chemistry calories to food calories. So I'll just keep that to 2 sig fig right now. And again, I'm just going to keep that negative out there, and my unit will be that. Now, what I want to do is, if I want to figure out how many calories per gram, we want to figure out what mass of the food sample was burned. Now, not all of your marshmallow and not all of your Cheeto will have burned, but what you did was you measured the mass of the food with the holder before, and you figured out after. So to figure out your change in mass of your food item, because not all of it burned, you do final minus initial. Just as we do change in temperature, it's final minus initial. So I'm going to take 4.74 grams, subtract 4.87 grams, and what we end up with is a change in mass of 0.13 grams. Notice that this is a negative, and that's not by accident. So that when we go to calculate calories per gram, so cal per gram, that means you're going to take your calories, divide it by grams. You have negative 0.3 kilocalories or food calories. Divide that by what mass burned, and you notice that your negatives will cross out, and we end up with 2.7 cals per gram. So that is how you figure out how many calories per gram or kilocalories per gram of a food item. When you are comparing both of your food items, you have to get both units down into calories per gram in order to do a direct comparison. Hope that helps, and good luck with your lab.